Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, last May, President Richard Levin of Yale University delivered a commencement speech, and I think the message that he conveyed in that speech is worth repeating here for the members of this body and also for the American people. I'm going to read a portion of the speech and then ask unanimous consent that the entire commencement of speech be inserted in the record. These are the words of Dr. Richard Levin. Aristotle tells us that we are by nature political animals, but one wonders whether we would recognize the species that we have become. 18 months ago, the United States elected a new president who was prepared to address intelligently and collaboratively the most pressing problems confronting the nation: education, health care, climate change, and improving America's image in the rest of the world. Late in the election campaign, the financial crisis intervened, and economic recovery and financial sector reform were added to this ambitious agenda. What has happened since does not inspire great confidence in the capacity of our system to deal intelligently with important problems. Why is this happening? Dr. Levin says, let me make two observations and then trace their implications for how you might conduct yourselves as citizens and participants in political life. First, contemporary political discussion is too often dominated by oversimplified ideologies with superficial appeal to voters. And second, political actors in the United States give too much weight to the interests of groups with the resources to influence their re-election and too little attention to the costs and benefits of their actions to the wider public. In The Federalist, number 10, James Madison addresses the second of these observations in the context of the fledgling republic established by the U.S. Constitution. He notes that the tendency to pursue self-interest can never be entirely suppressed, but it can be mitigated by the proper design of political institutions. The protections that our form of government offers against ideology and faction have attenuated greatly since Madison's time, for at least two reasons. First, mass communication increases the opportunity to sway voters by appeal to simple formulations. Of course, the rise of mass communication could be a tool for raising the level of discourse through more effective education of the electorate. But it interacts with the second attenuating factor, that the money required to win elections through the media has created dependence on funding from special interest groups, and it is these interest groups who distort reasoned dialogue by sponsoring oversimplified messages. To move beyond ideology and faction, we need to raise the level of political discourse. You, as the emerging leaders of your generation, he told the students, must rise to the challenge. In its first paragraph of the Federalist number 1, writing about the infant republic whose constitution he was endeavoring to defend, Alexander Hamilton asserts, "It has frequently been remarked that it seems to have been reserved to the people of this country by their conduct and example to decide the important question whether societies are really capable or not of establishing good government from reflection and choice. There is much in America's history of the past 2 1/4 centuries that would incline us to conclude that Hamilton's question has been answered in the affirmative. Our institutions of representative government have proven themselves to be durable. The rule of law has prevailed, and the scope of political liberty has expanded far beyond what the founders envisioned. But today, in the face of oversimplified ideology and the dominance of narrow interests, we must wonder again whether Hamilton's question is still open." Women and men of the Yale College class of 2010, Dr. Levin said, it falls to you, the superbly educated leaders of your generation, to rise above ideology and faction, to bring to bear your intelligence and powers of critical thinking, to elevate public discourse, to participate as citizens and to answer the call to service. Only with your commitment can we be certain that the future will be decided by reflection and choice in the broad best interest of humanity. You can do it. Yes, you can. Madam Speaker, Dr. Levin made this call to the young women and men who will lead our nation in the years to come, but all of us should listen. As we end this Congress and begin a new one, our nation faces challenges as complex as they are consequential, and we stand at a tipping point. More special interest money is flooding our political system than ever before. Congress is the most partisan it has been in history. The media is often more a source of polarization than information, and the American people don't know whom to believe, if anyone, and I don't blame them. The result is that our ability to have serious discussions about serious challenges is severely damaged. And now, arguably the most significant challenge facing our country is figuring out how to have those conversations. That must be our calling for the 112th Congress. If we fail in this effort, we not only fail Congress, we fail our country. Madam Speaker, once again I ask unanimous consent that the entire text of Dr. Levin's commencement address be inserted in the record, and I yield back.
Without